Our first release was the Enforcer demo. I don't know if really our technical style was a standout yet musically, but it was something that definitely got us across. And within that time, we were getting key shows at CB's as well as at the Ritz at the Rock Hotel shows. And it was just a matter of time before really the band's sound came into place. A lot of it had to do when Mackie started playing with us as early as 1986. Because his element into the band was key to really making the music more powerful as AJ was able to incorporate his style and his sound.
Well, even when we started, we didn't do, it wasn't full-on hardcore stuff. On the first demo, we did a Metallica song as a goof. But we always wanted to incorporate more metal sounds, but just not have the heavy metal attitude about things, which was always just like Eddie said, it was a parody. We just didn't believe with it. But I think the first demo, even though it sounds like, to this day, it doesn't really sound too good, at least it was a step in the right direction. We started moving up the scale of just trying to be a better band.
Yeah, I guess because in that recording, the guitars and drums weren't prominent yet and really weren't so much of a standout. That would have been our most hardcore period, I guess, because the sound was really there. But it was just a matter of time, I guess within 2 years, that AJ really found his sound, as well as the two-guitar attack made it a lot stronger as well. By 1985, I think was really a pinnacle year for us in a sense, because that's when Chris Williamson from Rock Hotel, the shows, and also had a record deal with Profile Records, which is known for Run DMC. He caught us at a matinee, and I believe we were opening up for COC. And whoever was somebody that was catching shows at that time, you had anybody from like Scott Ian to Roger and Vinny from AF. Jimmy caught a few shows. I remember just seeing Jimmy's first show actually in around '82, I believe. But anyway, from there, after Chris saw us opening up and saw us do a little bit of damage as far as what we could do at CBGB's, he started hooking us up with really key shows, which really was the important point for us to get the next step, and that would to be reaching a larger audience and a more wilder crowd,
So we signed with Profile in late '87, right?
Yeah.
It was '87, and then we did a record up at Normandy Sound, which is in Rhode Island, and Chris Williamson took us up there with the engineer called Tom Soares, who really helped us out a lot and was a big factor in getting really good sounds, really professional sounds for us that we never had before. So to this day, I think the record still stands up to most people's first record. And I think it was a combination of Tom and Chris, actually, in a way, and then us rehearsing 4 days a week for 2 or 3 years actually paid off.
Yeah, I would say after we signed that deal, within 6 months we were recording, and everything just fell into place, If we didn't have the professionals behind us, even though Chris has gotten a lot of slag over the last years and stuff, and we didn't have a key engineer like Tom, I don't think we would have been able to find ourselves, sound-wise. And there's no question that that record has withstood the test of time. And hopefully, as far as all our records are concerned, that maybe time has caught up with us and they can maybe see what they're worth now in a different light. That's what we're hoping for now in 2006.
Well, then we did Desperate Measures after Born Expire. Same studio, same people. We actually had who do we have member-wise?
You had Jimmy now.
Now we had Jimmy the Poodle on bass because Zowie had split to join Circus
Pokey
of
was now
Power.
on drums.
We had Pokey on drums, who's with us. Zowie went off to be with Circus of Power to be a biker or something.
Yeah, even though Mikey did that second record with us as well, we were now going back, I think, into a reverse in a lot of ways. I think we were looking for a different sound after the last 2 records.
After Desperate Measures came out and the band didn't really have much success because the record labels weren't doing their jobs and the managers weren't doing their jobs, and what actually happened was too is this European label contacted us and wanted to do another record with us, but little did they know that we had broken up a few months before. So when they contacted us and said, "You want to do another record?" we said, "Sure," even though we weren't a band, hadn't rehearsed, and really didn't have any new songs. But we said, "Hell, do it." Well, after Adult Crash, we went back to Europe a couple more times. We were there probably a half dozen times in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Europe, we wouldn't have had a steady flow. I think the creativity wouldn't have worked either because we wouldn't have had enough time really working together and gelling.
And then basically the band being a four-piece. And actually after Adult Crash, we actually put some real good time and effort into the last record, Open Mouth Kiss, and really gave it our all. And I think it still sounds good, and it's my favorite record.
And mine as well. I think finally we were able to really see it as a complete record that we were all proud of as far as our own talents were concerned and what we were able to capture. Adult Crash compared to that has a lot of great moments, but again, the production was just too many guys trying to make it happen. Our problem was really having a label that really got us, you know. A lot of labels wanted it to really change our sound and stuff like that. You know, they wanted us to play strict hardcore songs. And, you know, the whole reason me and AJ got involved with it, and as we got older and older with it, was to evolve. You know, I didn't want to get stagnant. You know, it doesn't make sense to be stagnant and just panning out the same old shit over and over again. For a vocalist, that's tiring. You know what I mean? To just sit there song after song, year after year, barking like a fucking dog, man. I mean, that shit doesn't make any sense. It has to be some sort of challenge to it. Yeah, 12 years have passed since we did a full release and we did a full tour. So there's a lot of people that have only heard about the band and listened to the records and stuff. And this gives a lot of younger kids the opportunity to see the band at a period where, you know, everybody was happy, everyone was at peace. I mean, you really get that live at the show when you see it. But we wanted to do a live record, and we're basically working on licensing deals now to get the band's catalog back out there because
Half the kids never even heard it.
well, not even that, but half the kids can't even get it without paying a higher collectible price. I mean, you can get the later music, but as far as Born to Expire and Desperate Measures, you know, you're spending twice as much or more to get the record because they're so rare. You know, that's the problem with the labels that we dealt with early on, man. They never got it fucking right. You know, we'd be playing everywhere and the record would not be in the stores. And, you know, why are you putting ads in the fucking paper if our record ain't in the store? I mean, that shit don't make no sense. That's just throwing away money. And then we gotta recoup it.
Well, we played, you know, we played all types of clubs in New York. We played CB's, played Irving Plaza, we do the Rock and Soul shows at the Ritz, we played the Moors in Brooklyn, the rock capital of Brooklyn. And we didn't mind. We play anywhere.
Yeah.
We just wanted to play in front of a crowd that would appreciate what we were doing. And if that meant a hardcore crowd or a punk rock crowd or a metal crowd, we do it. We didn't have any problems with anybody.
Yeah, well, Stevie's as a matinee and Lamore's as a club were very much like night and day as far as they're concerned. But they all had their purpose, I think, as far as, you know, like the history of New York bands is concerned. You know, I think that there's a seminal history in all of those places, whether you like them or not, you know. I remember doing a somersault in Munich. It was like a second night out. And as I flipped, nobody caught me. And I landed so flat on my back that when I got up, literally I stood up and my leg was going. And I had to get back on stage and do fucking another 60 minutes of this fucking gig, man. By the time it was over, I went behind a curtain and I literally cried for fucking 20 minutes, man. I was in such pain.
Yeah, music's always fun to play. It's always good to play, you know, a band you started from 20 years ago and be able to do it, still do it. It's like you're retaining your youth. Music keeps you young. Well, the hard rock stuff these days is not very interesting, is it? There's not many things out there that I can even bear listening to for a while. It's just these people forgot how to write songs. It seems like they're just interested in like just being overly aggressive, and there's no melody no more. There's just everyone sounds like everybody else, and it's exactly what we didn't want to do from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, you can't evolve, man. What the fuck are you doing it for?
Yeah, well, when we first started playing, it was a whole bunch of types of people. It was skaters and punk rockers and the first or second waves of the hardcore scene in New York, and then it kind of morphed into more of a metal crossover in the mid-'80s. And then by the 90s, just like if it's good music, it sticks.
I think also the band itself was always, a wide variety of people that were turned on to us, So you have to, feel fortunate for that, to be able to get some sort of reaction or some sort of comprehension. These people are getting what you're doing. You know what I mean? For a 21-year-old kid, man, there's no other high out there, than seeing like 1,000 kids out of a 2,000 headed crowd, going crazy and trying to climb on the stage and beat the shit out of each other. I mean, there's no rush like that, boy. There's no rush like that out there at all.
Yeah. You said it.